Thank you, Josh. That was just amazing and just so much richness to go away and think about. So now we're going to be doing interviews with exhibitors. Let me just bring up where we're starting. No, I don't want to share it. I want to present it. There we go. So first up, we're going to have Esther Bromley, who is from Chess. Yes, that's one. Okay. Esther up from Chess. Can we have Yvonne come up from CC? And we'll have Neil from Unite. If you just all come up and I'll ask you questions. I'm just, move the mic along. I'll start off with, we just move to Chess. So here's Chess. So Esther, can you tell us a little bit, I'm about to fall off the stage. What is Chess?
So CHESS stands for Christian Home Education Support Service. It's been going since the early 90s. It rebranded a number of years ago, maybe about 10 years ago. It used to be called the Home Service. And it was set up to, when home education was much less common than it is now, but set up to link together Christian families who were home educating, to encourage them and equip them in their home ed journey and provide ways to connect them with each other. I think the internet's helped more now, but back in the day, particularly when I started, the internet was in its infancy, and so those connections were much harder to make, and so that was really why and how it started. So it's a membership. It's a membership organisation, and we have loads of free stuff on the website, but we're a not-for-profit, and we charge families £20 membership for a year, which does bring some benefits to those families if they join. What do they get for their membership? We produce a magazine approximately 3 times a year. We have copies out there, and which you're welcome to take, just sample copies. You're welcome to take those. All members get. If you take one today and you're not a member, then you might get 2 of them. We've got an older book, which is just stories of families who've home educated, making the right impression. You get that. Every year we facilitate a holiday in Wales. Now I realise that for those of you living in the far north of Scotland, that might be a little way to go. But I was the coordinator for that. I've only just given it up in the last 6 months. It was the highlight of my kids' year, and it was just, and now there's about 100 families on site. So that is a members only place, and it's just a really good way to connect and spend a week with people who actually are like you, because they also home educate, and you're not having to explain yourself all the time. So yeah.
So if you're interested in membership or any other information about Chess, Esther will be out in the foyer there, and you can go and speak to her. You have something happening in autumn.
In the autumn time. One of the things that we used to run a weekend conference every 2 years, and with increasing costs, we are finding that was even though we kept our costs as low as possible, it was becoming increasingly expensive for families. So with COVID, actually 5 years ago, we did an online conference over a number of days, and from that we've started doing a conference a bit like today in different parts of the country. Just a day conference, free to members and a small charge to non-members, and all being well, we are having one in Glasgow this either October, November. So watch out for information about that. And can I just do a plug? If any of you would like to get involved in helping me organise it, come and speak to me. Organising a conference, as Emma and Shannan will testify, takes a lot of work and preparation. And so the more people you have on board to help, the easier it becomes. But anyway, we're hoping to do that in the autumn. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is Yvonne, and she's from Classical Conversations. Can you tell us what is Classical Conversations?
Sure. So Classical Conversations is a classical methodology, Christian curriculum with a key part of it is that there is a community involved. So you're not on your own, sitting at home, going through a pile of books. You have community there who can help you, encourage you. We believe that parents are a child's best educator. You know your child better than anyone else. So CC comes alongside parents, and we train the parents in how to use the curriculum and how to deliver that education for their children.
So you said about learning communities. Do you need to have a learning community near you to be able to do CC?
To gain the benefits of CC, you need to join a community. There's 3 C's that we have in CC, which are classical, Christian and community. Without the community element, there's plenty of other curriculums that would be probably much better fit.
So you're from Glasgow. Is there other communities in Scotland at this time?
There are. So we're in Glasgow, where we have Foundations, Essentials and Challenge, which takes you from age 4 through to 18. And we have a community in West Lothian. And we also have a community up in Dundee as well.
Fantastic. And so you start from like little ones. Can someone with older kids kind of jump into the CC?
Absolutely. That's actually a question we get a lot, because a lot of people think, oh, my kid's going to high school and I really don't want them to go to high school, but they've never done Foundations and Essentials, so how can they do Challenge? But the thing is that the Challenge programme was actually the first programme CC did. The lady who started CC was looking for teenagers to have Socratic circle conversations with her children, and from that Challenge came out. Then people seen what they were doing and wanted to do more, and then they had younger children and they started thinking, well, what would have been really good for these kids to know before they went into Challenge? And from that, they kind of backwards engineered the Essentials and the Foundations programmes. So you do not need to start at age 4. You can join at any age.
Anyone wants to speak to Yvonne? Our table's just at the front door there. Go and look at their curriculum. It's so lovely. It's like homeschool, mummy, like, oh, the books are so nice. So yeah, go and have a look. I've got the eye on the map book. I've had an eye on that map book for years and I want it. So yes, go and see Yvonne and her lovely books. Neil is here from, right slide. So Neil is here from Unite for Education. Neil, can you tell us a little bit about what Unite for Education does?
Unite for Education, standing for Christ-Centered Education in Scotland, supporting home educators, co-op education, Christian schools, and starting new initiatives, but also standing in politics and in society for Christians and bringing awareness to basically wake up the church to support Christian education in Scotland.
So yeah, Neil is an amazing advocate for all families in Christ-centered education, whether you're home educating or you've got kids in Christian schools. Unite is a great place to go for help, for resources, and just to be that voice and find out what's happening in that political sphere. How can individuals or churches, for that matter, because we've got pastors here as well today, and church leaders, how can they connect with Unite for Education?
Signing up to the newsletter, which I try to do as much as I can, but it keeps you updated. Our website, theuniteforeducation.org, social media, all the platforms that are available out there. But the main thing is that newsletter, because I really try to put all the information in there, what's going on, what's happening, and all the events that are happening with the different organizations, different schools, and even churches that are now waking up and want to support Christian education. So yeah, just the newsletter is one of the main things, and it's all also on my desk as well today, the table desk.
So I think Neil is opposite Yvonne, near the front door, so go and speak to Neil at some point during the day if you would like some more information. He's also got lots of lovely resources and some books there that you can take away with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jane, where's Jane from Epic? Oh, that's oops. So there's another slide there. Jane is from Epic Learning, Epic Education Early Learning Centre. Oh.
Just a nursery.
Can you tell us what Epic is and where are you based?
Okay, so EPIC is really, it stands for Encouraging Parents in Christian Education. Our vision is to have the nursery and then progress into either a home education support or a school, if that's possible. I home educated my 7 children, and I always thought if only there was a little Christian nursery which could support me, not to educate my children in the sense of to take over the education, but just to support me, you know, maybe a morning a week or a day a week, but I could focus on the older children while the younger ones could play and learn. So that's the purpose of Epic Education.
I've been home educating for 16 years, and when I started, so I'm through the east, you're the west, and Jane Richardson's name was like mentioned. She was like this kind of the pioneer that I saw her as like this. Everyone mentioned. I never met Jane until like I think about a year ago, but I always knew her name, and she was like this kind of like pioneer of home education in Scotland in my mind.
Oh wow!
So we've got a wee video to show you about. Is this? Yeah.
My vision for Epic Education started many years ago when I was a young mum myself. I also had a desire to see Christian education promoted throughout Scotland, and at that time with young children I would have loved to have had a nursery.
If anyone are interested, or if you are in the area of, where in Glasgow are you based?
So we're based in Rutherglen, which is the south side of Glasgow, but it's quite handy for all the sort of motorway connections. So you can more or less reach it from a lot of places within half an hour. And please just take a leaflet and contact me if there's anything you want to ask. We are currently trying to get the government funding for the 3 to 5 year olds. So please pray for that, because that will change a lot of things. We're open for registration of 2 to 5 year olds. So please ask anything. We're there to help you.
Lovely. And if anyone's close to, if anyone knows their churches or you've got people who are close to Epic and may be interested, take leaflets and take them to your churches. Just get the word out that this is available. Thank you, Jane.
Can I just say one more thing? We are hiring a part-time practitioner. So if anyone knows a committed Christian who has a certificate in early years, please send them my way if you can. That would be lovely. Thank you.
Fantastic. So now we've got David Belgium from Barnabas Aid. Hi, David.
Hi, Emma.
David is my old pastor, so I've known David. I've actually known David from like that height because David's daughter is like my bestie. So yeah. Can you tell us about Barnabas?
Well, Barnabas Aid exists to help and support persecuted and suffering Christians around the world, of which there are many, many, many millions. And that's our role. Our key scripture, our foundational scripture is Galatians chapter 6, verse 10, which says, "Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially those who belong to the family of God." And that's sort of scripture you could just read in your quiet time and, yeah, okay. Especially, there's like a requirement the Holy Spirit gives through Paul to us to look after our own Christian family first. And there are some who are suffering so badly. Obviously, there is a huge range of types of persecution that go on throughout the world. And it's our desire to reach these people, to give them the support that we can.
Fantastic. One of the things that we have a vision for at Arise Home Education is the raising of missionally-minded kids and families. So how can individual families engage with the work of Barnabas?
Well, I think that's a really good point. My colleague Patricia is here, and we've got our stand next door, and we have a magazine that comes out every 2 months, and that can be sent to you free of charge. All you need to do is let us have your details, and we'll get that sent to you. The story here on this particular magazine, which is a recent one, is of this little girl called Jennifer, who's now 9. She was 8 when we made a video about her. She grew up in a brick kiln family in Pakistan. Now, in Pakistan, Christians are marginalized. They get the jobs that no one else wants to do, working in the sewers or working in brick kilns. And the families get into debt because they can't afford to pay for medical care or whatever, so they get a loan which they just become effectively like slaves to the brick kiln owner because he lends them the debt, but they can't afford to pay it back. And Barnabas is able to help people like her. Many hundreds of families have now been helped, and that's something that we can all do, help these youngsters and help these families get free from the debt they get stuck in. But to answer your question, Emma, Patricia and I have visited a number of homeschooling networks. We've visited a number of Christian schools as well, because like you, we feel it's really, really important that the next upcoming generation understands, yes, about mission, but also has an awareness of what it's like growing up in a country where you're marginalized because you're a Christian. Now, it's really, really tragic that in so many countries, we'll stick with Pakistan as well, there are many youngsters who can't have an education because the parents can't afford to allow them to go to school. They can't do that. That was the case also for Jennifer. She had to stop going to the school she was going to and give it up and help her mum and dad working in the brick kiln. Such is the poverty. Now, but think of this. You have a dilemma. Every one of us living in Scotland today has a dilemma for our children or grandchildren. Do we give them the state education, or do we do our best to send them to a Christian school or give them a Christian education ourselves? That's our dilemma. The dilemma for poor people in Pakistan, for poor Christians in Pakistan, is they can't give their children an education at all because they can't afford to. So one of the things that we do, and Living Streams here, the one that's on the screen just now, for not very much a month, £18 a month, will give a child not just an education, it will give them a Christian education. And what is particularly exciting about that is, imagine that you're, like some of your children are, 8 years old, 10 years old, 14 years old. Can you imagine being that age and being unable to read and write? And these children can't be home educated because their Christian parents have been in the same situation. They're not able, they're illiterate. They can't read or write or count very well. And they're stuck in this poverty trap. And it is tremendously exciting to be able either to support one of the Living Streams projects, which you can get a leaflet from if you come to our table later on, one of which is to set free those people who are in bondage, effectively in slavery, to the brick kiln owners, but also you can sponsor a child. And imagine a child being given that hope that they can get an education, they can learn to read and write, maybe go on to college, university, and make something with their life, compared to being maybe 14, 15 years old, illiterate, and seeing no hope ahead of you other than being in the brick kiln or down in the sewers or doing a cleaning job. So we think that's why we love coming to meetings like this, sharing with the next generation, first of all, about how privileged they are that they're getting a Christian education, but so that we can try and encourage them to see that there are people who are not as privileged as them, but we can help them. So, Patricia, I would love you. We've got lots of materials with free of charge that we can give you if you come to our stand. And we've got some activities as well, challenges, quizzes, puzzles, if you like, for children and adults can play too.
There might even be some sweeties.
There might be some prizes which could involve sweeties.
They have been spied by little people already.
Were they your children, Emma?
No,
they
they're
were.
not here.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, go and visit David's stall. It's beside the teas and coffees. And if you are a church, a pastor or an elder, or if you just think your church would be interested, Barnabas will be happy to come and speak at your church. Or if you're involved in a home ed co-op or homeschool group, David can come and Patricia can come and do a session with your kids. They came to our co-op in Falkirk, I think it was last year, I can't remember, and it was great, and the kids really engaged. They did a session with our teenagers and had some really rich and deep conversations about some of the things. It was really good. So yeah, speak to David and Patricia about how you can connect with Barnabas in your church or your different learning communities.
Thank you. I was going to make that, but thank you. You did a great job publicising that. Thank you, Emma.
A quick word, just come up. Just come up, it's okay. A quick wee word. We've got Zoe Carter Books and Crafts. So Zoe came to our last Rise conference. She's unable to come today for work purposes, but Zoe has written and illustrated quite a large, over 35 children's books. They're all written from a Christian perspective, and they deal with a lot of the cultural issues from a very sensitive standpoint. So I think Excellent Edward, one of her books is basically talking about gender confusion, but is aimed at preschoolers, and so that's the kind of things she is tackling in her books. There's QR codes, the loop will be running. Please check out her website. She's an independent writer and publisher, and it is brilliant to be able to champion someone who is trying to provide an answer to a lot of the lies that are being put out in our culture today. And she also has some amazing little craft books and stuff as well. So yeah, check out her website, it's fantastic. So this, we've got Roman and Bella Tanzer, and they are from Flow Consulting, and they'll also be in our prayer room. Can you tell us a little bit about Flow Counselling, sorry.
Yeah, so actually we started off as a counselling business 2 years ago, and then we realized that actually people, especially couples who started coming into our practice, could have needed support a lot earlier. So, there's a statistics that says it takes about 6 years for people to ask for help when they're in a bad place with their spouses, which is a long time. After 6 years, people are usually in quite a bad place. And there's a real stigma around asking for help. So we've branched out into coaching. So Roman is training as a coach currently, and also into offering workshops, especially for churches and Christian organizations, to support them to support their couples. And those are not necessarily couples in crisis, but couples who want to invest in their relationships.
So you specialise in marriage counselling.
Yeah.
Do you do mental health counselling as well?
Yeah, so I started off as a general counsellor, and then I just realized that my heart really is for relationships. So I also work with other issues, but the heart of what we do is around marriage, strengthening marriages, because, the culture we live in doesn't value commitment, and God values commitment, and He is so committed in His relationship with us, and is showing how we can do that in our marriages.
I think a lot of couples can carry a lot of shame or embarrassment when they have problems, especially in Christian communities, especially when you are, if you're homeschooling your kids, you're meant to be that amazing Christian couple, and that embarrassment, and as you said, it takes 6 years. What would you say to anyone here today who's thinking, actually, we could do with some help?
I guess, I think there are lots of things. I think when we came with the car, we had exactly that on our minds. What do we would like to give people that ask? I think some things. So my thing would be just to turn towards each other, stay connected to each other. So as a couple, for example, as a couple, it's so precious not to move away. I mean, everyone has their own needs, and sometimes you need just to step aside for a moment or for 30 minutes and come back. But do come back and fight together. Yeah. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I think if you're at a point where you say, oh, actually, we might need some help, then I would, you're very welcome to contact us. And we have a little stall that is quite an interactive stall. So one of the questions we're asking you, and we hope we'll get lots of answers, is what makes a great relationship? And this, we'd love spouses, but also kids, to help us answer this question. And then we have a quiz, a relationship quiz, that helps people to find out where they stand. So it's free, and there's a prize draw. So please come and participate in the quiz, and then we have some prizes for you. And if you're a church leader, our heart is to support churches. It's quite a bold statement here: stronger marriages, stronger churches. We wholeheartedly believe that. Churches that have couples who are committed to each other and to the Lord are strong churches. So if you're interested in our workshops or our programs for churches, we partner with churches. Come and see us at the stall, please.
So yeah, if you want to speak to Bell and Tanza, everything is confidential. If you want to take their contact details away, please do so. If you want prayer today, they will be in the prayer space, so you can go and ask for prayer. And if you're a church leader and think this would actually be really beneficial in our churches to connect and put something on for marriages, again, contact Bella and Roman, and they'll be able to just see what you need and start those conversations. Home education can be enormously stressful and put huge pressure on anybody's relationships.
Yeah, we've needed counselling, so.
So there is no shame and no stigma. Don't let it go to crisis point after 6+ years. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I'll take that. So next up we have Tim from Tree of Life. Oh, there's more from, these will be looping, so you can check them out again. So, Tree of Life, Health and Wellness. Tim, you are a professional chiropractor, yes. And I think we all have images of what chiropractors do in our mind, which may not be helpful or accurate. You practice using the ABC method. Can you explain what that means?
Yes, ABC stands for Advanced Biostructural Correction. It's a very unique approach to chiropractic care. In fact, some would even say that it's technically not chiropractic because it's that much more advanced. But it aims at getting a more fundamental underlying problem in the body that traditional chiropractic approaches miss.
For kind of mums, most of us are home ed mums, and there's obviously a lot of dads here today, a lot of us can suffer things like migraine. Mm-hmm. And we can have complications that we have dealt with from childbearing for years. Yep. Could they benefit from coming to see you and from getting a consultation?
Yeah, definitely. Childbearing is one of the things that will cause some things to go mechanically wrong with the body. When the body starts to spread out to make room for the baby, things don't always snap back together quite the way they were before, and that can lead to some structural problems. And they would certainly benefit from consulting with me about that.
I know a lot of people will talk about that. They'll say about they're going to their chiropractor, and it's part of their kind of wellness regime. It's built into how they keep healthy without getting to a place of ill health in a crisis point.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes, very much so. In fact, this particular approach is specifically geared toward that type of healthcare. It's more progressive. I usually explain to people that what we do is more like going to the gym to get in shape, because you're progressively making changes to your body that are going to improve your overall health and wellness, as well as eliminating aches and pains and postural issues.
So anyone who would like to speak to Tim, you're based in Larbert, is that correct?
That's right, yes, just off the motorway, very close to the hospital.
So easy for access from anyone across the Central Belt. Tim's approach is really gentle. It's not what you think of, crazy snapping spines into place and all of that.
Right.
So speak to Tim, because obviously as parents we want to be healthy, we want to be well, and living in chronic pain or carrying the results of childbearing for years is not helpful. And having a correction can have amazing benefits for migraine as well. I know many of us suffer from migraine, so please speak to Tim. There's QR codes to Tim's website here. Thank you.
Right, thanks.
And finally, we have Ian.
Hello.
His son.
Yes, that's my dad.
So,
And my mom also organized the event, but whatever.
It is Shannan's son. So we have, Ian is looking to go with Agnes's son, Andrew, to Steiger Mission School in
August.
Can you tell us a little bit about Steiger? I know we've got a video to watch.
Yeah, so Steiger is a ministry that is based on empowering people like me to reach young people who wouldn't walk into a church. Yeah, that's basically their catchphrase.
So like the alternative youth culture is what I've heard.
Yeah, it's kind of alternative. It's not your average street preaching, I guess.
Is this the video? Is this played?
Does that play? No.
No. Fix it. The red arrow. Oh, right, the red arrow. That's it.
It's this one.
Steiger grew out of passion to reach young people who would not walk into a church.
You'll be quicker than me. So they have a mission school in August, and you're going to be going with Andrew.
Yes.
But this is expensive.
Yeah.
So Ian's here today. He's got a stall out there. He's selling T-shirts, but he's also looking for support. Andrew and Ian are looking to gain support to help fund this training. Andrew Mitchell, Agnes's oldest son, is currently at Elijah is currently with Steiger, interning with them in their base down in London. They are doing an amazing work, reaching. I believe that the alternative youth culture is the biggest unreached people group
Yes.
in the world or Europe.
I mean, the youth culture, generally speaking, only has like 3% of active Christians. So I assume the alternative youth culture is even less than that.
Yeah. So you might not have heard it. I was saying Gen Z is considered an unreached people group within this country, and this is the group of youth that are very alternative, and as Ian said, would not walk into church. So we're raising up young evangelists, the next generation of leaders, to make an impact into these very broken, damaged young people who culture have utterly broke with the lies that they've been sold of. There's no absolute truth in every other lie. So please go and speak to Ian about what they're doing, about supporting Ian and Andrew on their mission trip, and so that they can. I know Elijah's vision is to come back to Scotland and equip the church here with what Steiger are doing. It's an absolutely amazing organisation. And we just want to support and bless this work. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think I've covered... oh no, we've got us. Hi, Emma. Hi. How's it going? It's okay. I'm doing the wrong direction.
That's all right. So while she's finding the right slide, I want to just say, yeah, honey, I am so proud of you. Thank you. And that's what we do. That's what we do at Arise. And that's what home education does. When you make the choice, you're making a choice not only for your future and your children's future, but your children's children's future. So bless you.
So we're here today at the Arise conference, and this might be your first kind of involvement with Arise. What do we do, Shannan?
We do that. We do secondary education in an online platform, providing an opportunity for students to learn for GCSE or the UK exam model, or the US model, which is high school diploma and transcript and credits, but we do it where every subject is infused with a Christian worldview. So you can study for GCSEs, but you're going to get it from a Christian worldview. You're going to study evolution, but you're also going to study all the other theories of science that would go for that. And that's just one example of the many things that we do there.
Yes, so we're equipping. We recognise our kids need to get their qualifications. If you're doing a UK exam, you need to teach to that syllabus. But we're teaching how that kind of, what does the Bible say?
Yeah.
And is what the secular worldview, is that really true? And so that being able to think critically about these things. And as Shannan said, we also teach to the US model. A lot of home educators are gaining qualifications using the way it's done in America. And we've not got time to go into all that today, but there's some very good reasons to do that because it keeps your educational freedom open. You don't need to choose to teach GCSE biology. You can continue doing your CC curriculum and gain a qualification which is recognised by UK universities in that way.
One of the things that you will get to enjoy or listen to those resources will be in the goodie bag when you get the digital goodie bag.
Yeah, so look into that. We've got lots of information on our website in the digital goodie bag where we explain that in great depth. These are our current live courses and what we're adding in for next academic year. Our enrolment is open, so we've got classes for mathematics, we've got pre-GCSE, so kind of like your S1, S2, early high school level, laying that foundation before going into GCSE maths. Now GCSE maths, we're doing Scottish SQA higher maths, and new for this year, we've got A-level maths as well. In English, we've got pre-GCSE English with Shannan. Just share a wee bit about.
I'm essentially going to teach and help and tutor students to be prepared for Emma's classes that come at like S3 so that they will be prepared to critically analyze literature. But also in my classes, they're going to learn to write well. And we will be using IEW's coursework, which we have found has worked really well for every student, regardless of whether they choose to go to university or they choose a vocation. It prepares them well for the nuts and bolts, the basics that you want them to have before they step into the formal essay writing that Emma takes them through.
And then we've got British Literature Year 1 and Year 2. In Year 1, we do Shakespeare and Jane Austen. In the second year, we're doing Charles Dickens and the work of C.S. Lewis. And within that, there's also poetry of various different poets. Building on that foundation of writing well and being able to analyse a work of literature. We also have the humanities. We've got Shannan's British History and World Geography classes. We've got Art and Design with Nikki, Year 1 and 2. And this year we're going to be adding in Ashley's Biblical Studies. Agnes is going to be doing photography as well. And this year we will end up having all sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, astronomy, and combined science will all be covered. We'll also have world languages, Gaelic, and we've got a self-paced Gaelic course that Agnes has built for families to learn together. And Bella Tanzer will be doing an introduction to German, and Ashley here will be doing Biblical Hebrew, which is a GCSE. You can sit a GCSE in this country in Biblical Hebrew. I think that's amazing. as well as biblical studies, which is an O-level. If for anyone slightly older will remember O-levels, you can still sit O-levels in this country. And we've got an O-level in biblical studies. So a really rich, broad range of subjects. Shannan, do you want to say anything else?
No, I think that says it. I would say that I am so privileged to be working with Emma and Ashley and Agnes and Nikki, who's off preparing for art. Oh, there she is in the back. And then Hannah as well, who's doing our sciences. She's not able to be here because she has a pack of tutoring kids that have exams this next week. So she's doing that. It is a privilege to work with each of you. And we are still looking for others to join us as tutors. So you can see those on the screen there. Come and talk to us if that is something you're interested in, or if you know somebody that might be qualified for those.
Brilliant.
Thank you.